Santa's bin. Merry Christmas, everybody. Just going for a bit of a walk before I have my coffee and before we open our prezzies. What have I got this set on here now? I don't know whether you can see me or not. So anyway, Vehicle Bridge in last night. We had a Christmas menu, 3 courses, 20 quid virtually. Lovely. I don't ever usually do reviews about pub food anywhere really. As one man's meat is another man's pudding, so they say. But oh, it's starting to rain and I haven't got my cover on my camera. To make this quick, but it was bloody lovely. Really, oh god, this is too muddy. I'm not going down here. I'll just spin you around a wee while so you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, sorry about that. I've been watching Russell Thompson. Come on, do one. What's going on? I broke it. I've only had it 2 minutes and I broke the bloody thing. There we go. There we are, see it's... I've not got my walking boots on, so I don't want to get full of shite. So I think I'll sack this and go back from whence I came. Which is it this way? Well, she won't be impressed with me walking with all that on my shoes. Anyway, excuse me. Yeah, it was a lovely meal. And it was quite busy as well. And Phil, the landlord, he looked after us really well, which they always do here. I mean, if this is not the best pub on the northern roads, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's a few contenders for it. We've got the location. Facilities, you've got a little play area, there's an arcade over there. But anyway, this is a lovely place in summer. Look at this beer garden here, pool table. It's closed up today, but open back tomorrow. And I think they've got plans for the shop Phil hinted that they've got plans for outside. Squirrel stuff. And now with the 24-hour moorings on the other side of the bridge, there's really no excuse for stopping here. There's plenty of moorings on the left side. You have to pay, I think it's £5 overnight, but you can redeem that at Pedro's if you have something to eat. And obviously these moorings here, they don't charge you if you eat in. We're all a Billy no mates today. So our plan is we're going to set off, open our prezzies, have a nice little cruise, and then we're going to go back to Ranworth, and it's open 12 till 2 in the maltsters. They're not doing food, but we've got duck and ribs and loads of stuff that can be just thrown in the cooker. So I have been told though that next year we're having Christmas dinner at home because She likes the family time. I can't stand them, to be honest, but you have to put up with it, don't you? Did I say that out loud? Freaking hell. Only kidding. There we go. That's been there a few years. Just for a couple before we have our Christmas dinner on the boat. In the meantime, time now is 9:15, and I'll just go for a bit of a cruise. Now I don't know whether I managed to say this before the battery run out. Are you off the Stokes bit? Yeah, we're just having to mooch about then going back there, Bramworth. Is there many up the stairs?
There was 12 there last night, but a few of them run away. Yeah, you should get on.
Yeah, no problem. See you later. It's a bit difficult to come to a stop in the middle of the river to talk to Paul, and as I was doing so, he shouted it was drifting towards the reeds, which is quite easily done with this wind. It wouldn't have been a problem if we'd have gone into the reeds because we was virtually stopped anyway. the plan was Fleet Dyke down to South Walsham, moor up, get the drone out. There'd be nobody about. I didn't get much chance to fly it in October because, well, for one reason, there was where we moored up was quite busy, and another reason I kept getting dragged to the pub, so I was never sober enough to fly the thing. Anyway, so the plan was to have a go here at South Walsham, but the wind all week had been uh, fairly breezy, and it was to get worse. So this was my only going to be my only chance. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way because because we're near water, and I thought I've got a great chance here of flying and get some really good footage over the water. And mine is a DJI Spark, and there's been a couple of issues with it originally. There's been a few firmware updates, but they've been flying away. So I've got some styrofoam balls to put on it to float, make it float. Unfortunately, it was just even worse in the wind, and the first attempt at takeoff, it just tipped over on its back. Now that could have been another problem where I hadn't calibrated it, but anyway, it didn't go well, and you'll see in a minute the footage that I managed to get from the thing. But I was really disappointed because this was a great time of year to get some footage, if only it wasn't windy. Having just gone over the footage now, it wasn't the first time I tried taking off that it tipped up. I'd already had a little bit of a flight, but it went into ATI mode, which means it's not connected by Wi-Fi, and uh, I wasn't too bothered. Well, I was bothered, but I wasn't that bothered because I had the styrofoam balls on. If I hadn't had those on when it did this, I would have been panicking. And as I got up, it started off, and it was giving me high velocity wind warnings, which is quite usual when you go up in the air and you get a little bit of wind. But it was at this point when it went into ATI mode and it just went down the side of the boat, and I thought, oh dear, I'll be fishing that out of there. Anyway, I think this is when it this is when it disappears down the side of the boat. Now, I don't know whether the balls had touched the water. It certainly wouldn't have been a good result if I didn't have had those styrofoam balls on it and they carried on going, but I managed to lift it up in the air at that point and just got this little bit of footage. I'll, um, and then I kept getting the high velocity. It doesn't look windy when looking back at this footage, but when you get it onto the ground, which you'll see in a moment, it is fairly windy. Which I was gutted, really gutted, because the rest of the week, not a chance whatsoever. Couldn't even flown a kite, and it was that windy the rest of the week. Now there's my balls, if you pardon the expression, and I'm now I was trying to keep it in a straight line down the path, and that's where I thought, oh well, it's a bit windier than I thought because that wind's just blowing me out into the middle of the river. I wanted to try and follow the path down there, but that wasn't happening. It's a pity really because I do love the footage from above. I love drone footage. If it's edited properly. I've not edited this at all. This is as it is, as it was while I was doing it on the day. If I wanted to make it look a bit nicer, I could cut all the bits out where it's flicking to one side to the other. Now this is when I realised it might have been only looking back at this, I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's a bit windy when you see the gust blowing the grass. Now that's probably what tipped it up, and I think this is now when I try to take off again. It doesn't like the wind. Anytime now, I think. I think it should be coming up anytime soon. I was contemplating what to do, and I thought, oh, go on, just give it another go. And then, yep, upside down. That's the one. So I thought I'd give it another go just to see if I could get it to fly now. But I think at this point I just lifted off a little while, and it was just too windy. I don't think I went too far at this present moment. I think basically it was just nope, it's not going to happen. So that was it, mission aborted. Not happy. So it was time to get my coffee and get on the front of the boat and try to do a bit of a video to camera. But I had the plastic cover on my GoPro and it was still windy, so you can't really hear much about this. Besides, I'm only repeating here what I've already just said in the narration, so I won't put you through it all again. You'd be glad to know.
Do they know it's Christmas time at all? Stupid idea that, trying to fly that drone. It nearly wet in the water inside the boat.
Ranworth's a pretty popular place for winter cruises because it has water there, plus electric, plus the pub. And the toilets there are open at Christmas time. I think it's from 18th of December to the 2nd of January. I might be wrong with that, but then for the rest of the time they're only open weekends. So that's why throughout the week, when we came back here, there was always a few boats here. And this is our second time, and we'll be coming back later on in the week.